Senator Warren has been one of the strongest allies of Indivisible since our very early days when we were fighting to save the Affordable Care Act. She is a brilliant, kind, inspirational leader. She always has a plan. You might recall, nevertheless, she persisted, became a rallying cry during the first Trump term for folks who were opposing the anti-democratic extremism of MAGA. So I am thrilled to hand the floor over to the persister in chief, Senator Warren, please.
Thank you very much, Ezra. Thank you. It is so good to be here with all of you. I'm loving these heart emojis and thumbs up, and I'm watching the cities and towns and communities that are coming by. It's good to be together. I want to start where Ezra is on this. I am sad, and I have fear. I am worried for people we love, for people who are our fellow human beings. And it's going to be tough out there. But the consequence of our sadness and our fear cannot be that we fold up. The consequence has to be that we reach down deep and we fight back. It is more important now for us to fight back than ever. So here's how I think about this at this moment. In Congress, us, the guys in the Senate and in the House, the Democrats need to fight every fight in Congress. We can't just stand here and watch the parade go by. And sometimes, not every minute, not every fight, but sometimes we are going to need you to be in this fight with us and to support us in this fight. And sometimes what that will mean is that we got to go after the people in power, the Republicans. Sometimes we're going to need to push the Democrats harder so that they are in the right place as we do these fights. So we've still got a lot of tools, and we're going to use those tools. We're going to fight Trump in the courts. If he breaks the law, we're going to be there. I understand he may win a lot of those fights. I get it that he owns the Supreme Court, but you can slow him down, and that's not nothing. And sometimes you can get enough power around something that they will decide to back down on their own. And I know everybody's tired right now. People are feeling kind of discouraged, but we're going to have elections in 2025 and 2026. Democrats are going to have to earn back voters' trust by making the case that we will unrig this economy and that we will put government on the side of working people. And I think as more of the Trump show reveals itself, drawing that contrast is actually going to be easier. Nothing about what lies ahead is an easy path. It's not the path we wanted. It's not the path we fought for. But I believe in this country, and I believe in you, the people who are on this call. And I believe too much in this country and in you to walk away from this fight. So when Ezra asked if I would be here tonight, I said, I want to be here. I want to be with the people that it is such an honor to fight alongside, because we're going to do this together. So I think, Leah, are we going to be able to do a couple of questions maybe?
That's right. That's right. As I think Ezra's got the questions to tee up.
Okay, so just a couple of Senator Warren, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for fighting alongside us and being such a leader and directing us where we need to go. I think we are strongest when there is an inside-outside game where we have leaders who we can count on the inside, and on the outside we can generate that kind of energy that helps you do the work that you're trying to do in the Senate. When you're thinking of the next 68 days to prepare for the Trump administration and the folks on this call who are trying to understand what they can do, what do you think is the most important thing for folks here to do? Not thinking about 2025, but over the next 68 days, what do you think they should focus on?
Perfect question, because boy, do we have an action item here. And that is the focus right now. Yeah, I'm hearing this stuff come out from Trump and what he's planning to do. right now is that we need to demand action from the Democrats who are still in power. Keep in mind, the United States Senate, not the House and the Senate is the one that confirms the judges, confirms the regulators, and everybody on this call should demand that we do that. This is the moment where we absolutely cannot let disappointment turn into resignation. It's going to be hard to engage people in these fights. I get it. Exhaustion is real. But the people who are counting on us cannot afford for us to give up now. So think of it this way. Right now, 68 days, Democrats are still in control. And for every judge that we get confirmed, that is a lifetime appointment. And I just want to be nerdy for 1 second here, so everybody's following me on this. I get it. They have a Supreme Court that I believe is extremist. I believe it doesn't follow the law, but understand this. Not all the cases make it all the way to the United States Supreme Court. The majority stop right there at the Court of Appeals, and there's a lot more balance in those courts of appeals. We get our Court of Appeals judges confirmed. That gives some stability to the court system. Second part I want to say about it is, and below that are the district court judges. Those are the judges you go to first. Those are the ones who do the hearings, who build the evidentiary rules. And that, quite frankly, is where most cases stop. So the importance of getting these judges through, this is real. You push the Democrats, please, push those Democrats to use every single minute between now and when we lose power to confirm those judges and to confirm people to the agencies who have term of years. So we have a list of them, agency appointments where Trump can't come in and just fire them just because there's a new administration. We need to get those people confirmed. So this is the place that you could have the absolute biggest impact right now. And I know everybody's coming off a lot of hard fighting, but you could really make a big difference here by pushing on the Democrats who are in the Senate right now.
We love getting nerdy here. We love getting specific. We love getting practical. That's what
guys.
we do. We try to demystify and give people practical advice. So you heard the senator. You heard the senator. What you can do right now is encourage your Democrats to actually vote for these confirmations. Do not obey in advance. Do not give Trump power he doesn't have. And power he doesn't have right now is the U.S. Senate. We still got it. Let's use it while we've got it. Okay, second question, Senator, before we get nerdy ourselves. We first got connected, I believe, during that fight for the Affordable Care Act. Okay. And one of the main dynamics there was having you and others on the inside fighting the good fight, and then us on the outside, along with other groups that we were partnering with on the outside, building up constituent pressure. As a senator, as somebody who's running an office, can you talk a little bit about what is it like to have a Senate office like yours or your colleagues and have constituents outside pushing? What does that feel like? How does it land? What works?
So this is a wonderful question. I'm so glad you asked about this one, Ezra. It really is. We get things done inside-outside game. It's either one is powerful, but together they are multiples more powerful. And I want to put a plug in for a specific way of bringing pressure. Look, there are a lot of great organizations that rally people at election time. That's great. Good for you guys. I appreciate that. What is so special about Indivisible is exactly the word you used about this, Ezra. You demystify Congress and you help people influence their representatives. So I'm glad you mentioned the ACA, because I think a lot about the ACA repeal fight as an example of your impact. And that's in two ways. The first one is just to remind everybody, this was right after Donald Trump got elected. Donald Trump announced he's going to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. Everybody needs to remember that means You go back to discriminating against everybody who's got a pre-existing condition. You kids under the age of 25 don't get to stay on their parents' plans. And a lot of people just lose their health care outright, won't have access to health care. We did not have the votes. Anybody who was going to bet money was going to say, it's gone. Republicans own the House, they own the Senate, and Donald Trump says he wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act. Just kiss it all goodbye. We got nothing. And if you all had given up, that is exactly where we would be. But instead, you got in that fight. You stayed in that fight. It may have felt like pushing a boulder uphill. Talk about setbacks. I want to remind everybody, the first vote was in the House, and they voted to repeal it. And then they all went over to the White House and had a big party, popped the beers so that they could all celebrate taking away health care from millions and millions of people. You talk about a low moment. But the fact that we were doing inside, outside, and you all were organized, you were pushing on those offices, you were in the faces of everybody, Democrats to hold the line, and how many Republicans could we peel off? I was on the floor the night that John McCain was the ultimate one, but remember, we had others we had to get there. It took 3 Republican votes to be able to withstand and protect the Affordable Care Act so that the repeal failed. That was your work. And let's remember, that was 2017. How many million people kept their health insurance because of the work you did? How many people with pre-existing conditions still get treatment, pay like everybody else? And how many kids made it on through school, through that first job, through that first business, a period of time maybe where they didn't have any income coming in, and still were able to stay on their parents' health insurance policies? That is incredibly powerful, what you accomplished. And we do that together, not because you get organized every 4 years or every 2 years for an election, but because you're there to keep pushing on the pieces of legislation that come up and the changes we need. You know, it takes 50 strikes of the hammer to break through once, but the impact you have when you do break through is truly transformational. Millions of people have health care because you fought back, and millions of people have hope because you stay in this fight. I'm honored to be here with you tonight, but more than that, I know that we're going to be in these fights together, day by day by day, whatever comes next.